What is going on, New York Giant fans? Welcome back to another Roster Bubble Series video. Hope you guys are doing well and staying cool in this heat. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Comment and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or a video drops. Appreciate you coming back. Share this out. Do all the good stuff. We got a training camp preview within the next few days on a live stream prep for you guys and all the other good stuff. I will be at training camp a few days. So hopefully we get some live action for you guys and all that other good stuff, what we can do at training camp. So another Roster Bubble Series video for you guys today. And today we're going to be talking about Joshua Miles. But first, if you guys have not been to these types of videos before, we take a player that's on the roster bubble. We talk about their background. We talk about their competition. Then we go into how they can win a spot on the roster, how they can lose a spot on the roster. And at the end, we say whether they will make the roster or not in our own prediction. So again, today's candidate profile, whatever you want to call it, is Joshua Miles. Morgan State product, drafted by the Arizona Cardinals in 2019, was with them till 2022, then got signed in March of 23 by the Atlanta Falcons. He was waived, re-signed to the practice squad. The Giants got him. Then they released him, re-signed him to the practice squad, and then signed him to a reserve futures contract. So, there's not too much NFL film or statistics with Joshua Miles. It's mostly been special teams work. In total, he's played 17 games in his NFL career, all with the Arizona Cardinals. 2019, he played 7 games. In 2021, he played 10 games. 17 games is now a full season. So think of it this way. Since 2019, he's only played 1 full season. Think about it that way. And that's not great if you're coming into a competition with guys like Josh Azudu, who I don't know if he's played as much as 17 games. Probably not. Marcellus Johnson, probably around the same, I would say, level because he's not even stepped on the NFL field yet. Matt Nelson, who has more experience, and Yanni Kajusti, former Patriots draft pick, he probably has more experience than a guy like Joshua Miles, and I believe they were in the same draft class. But nonetheless, he's only played 23 offensive snaps in his entire career. 3 in 2019 and 20 in 2021. And he played 26 snaps on specials in 2019 in the 7 games, and 40 snaps on specials in those 10 games in 21. So he was also injured in 21 a little bit, and also 2022. So here are some, I would say, words about Joshua Miles and what the prognosis was on him coming to the NFL. Miles has the raw tools to work with NFL size, athleticism, and good initial quickness. However, his footwork, hand placement, balance, and pad level are among the issues that need refinement, something that he should continue to get now that he's with the New York Giants. So his competition is going to look like this: Yanni Kajusti, Matt Nelson, Marcellus Johnson, and Josh Azudu. Those are the guys. Unless Miles does move to guard, right now he's in that tackle class with Azudu, with Johnson, Nelson, Kajusti, and also Jalen Mayfield as well. If you think about it, because Mayfield is primarily a guard, but he did play tackle at Michigan. So how can Joshua Miles win a spot on the roster? Position versatility. I just mentioned it. Joshua Miles, if he could move over to guard and fix up some of his issues, maybe they feel he's a better fit inside than at the tackle spot. He does have initial quickness, which is a good thing. It really does suit both positions, but it essentially fits more with the tackle position because you're going up against speed rushers, not necessarily power. So there's that. Mixture of good pass protection and run blocking. Athleticism is there, which is a good thing for Miles because the Giants the last few years have prioritized athletic offensive linemen. Not that they, never did, but they're like guys that can come out and block, whether it's a screen or a crack toss or something like that. And Carm Brasillo does like to do those on run plays. So that's a benefit for Joshua Miles. Again, you do have the experience working against him. But good run blocking, again, athleticism, that's good, and quickness, which favors the pass protection. But a mixture of both is good. Takes what he's learned and puts it on the field. Carm Brasillo, again, different story from some of the offensive line coaches he's been around. I mean, Last year, he was with Dwayne Ledford, but then he got a demotion to Bobby Johnson, and whoever the hell the Cardinals offensive line coach was, I think it was under Cliff Kingsbury, works on hand placement, footwork, and pad level. Carm Brasillo did say, with Evan Neal and a couple other different guys, that the offensive line is a developmental position. I mentioned this before. I believe it was Marcellus Johnson or another candidate we did. He's probably going to work with the offensive linemen a little bit more in terms of their technique than Bobby Johnson. Bobby Johnson, in my opinion, not only was he a bad coach, he also didn't work with them on technique and certain other things. I think he was just more focused about game and playbook and this, that, and the third, which I'm not saying you shouldn't be focused on that, but I feel like there's a couple of guys on this team that do need some more refinement in their technique. And I feel like Carm Brasillo is a positive for a guy like Joshua Miles who hasn't had much experience in the NFL. How can he lose? Injury, lack of experience kicks in. I think injury is a big one considering he was injured in 21 and 22. Lack of experience kicks in. That's a big one because if you're talking about sole experience right now, Zudu is favored over him because he's a draft pick. Marcellus Johnson probably on the same level, maybe even lower. Matt Nelson, who has more experience as a swing tackle. Yadni Kajusti, probably a little bit more than Joshua Miles because Kajusti, I think he's had more legitimate snaps. And Jalen Mayfield, who had 2 years as a starter, but it was a guard, it wasn't a tackle. So that's the lack of experience in terms of what I'm talking about. Lack of position versatility. I don't think that's going to be a huge one, but if he's not playing good at tackle and they switch him to guard and he doesn't do well, that's a failed experiment. But I think they're going to keep him at tackle because of his quickness and athleticism, and techniques aren't adjusted. That's got to be his own personal thing. I did talk about Carm Brasillo, adjusting techniques and helping certain guys, and I think he's going to be a little bit more developmental and patient towards these guys. But if Josh Miles doesn't do it on his own once Carm Brasillo teaches him, or James Ferentz, then that's going to be a lost cause for Joshua Miles. And I will say this before we go to a projection. There are stories that have happened in which a guy like Joshua Miles has made an NFL roster. If you guys remember Devery Hamilton, he barely had any NFL experience. I don't think he had any NFL experience at all. I think he was with the Raiders. He was with a couple of the teams. And in 2022, he showed out in training camp. He showed out in the preseason games as a guard and a tackle, and he made the Giants roster. Now, I think he was cut halfway through the year or something along those lines. But still, that's a pretty big leap from just schmoozing around practice squads to being on an NFL roster for a certain amount of games out of training camp. And I think Joshua Miles does have that potential, especially with a very good O-line coach in Carm Brasillo. However, I don't have him making the roster because I feel like the Giants, with the state of the O-line the last couple of years, unless Miles plays out of his mind, the Giants need to get this O-line right this year, and they need experience there, which would suit why Matt Nelson or Yadni Kajusti or some other guy would make the roster. Maybe someone outside the organization because the waiver wire exists. But I'm just putting it out there. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe to all the good stuff. Turn on post notifications so you know when the live stream pops or drops. Appreciate you coming back. Peace out, guys. See you later. Stay cool.